Vivek Ramaswamy has rapidly become a favorite punching bag for Republicans. In Iowa recently, when asked about the youthful entrepreneur, former Vice President Mike Pence said this: he's wrong on foreign policy, he's wrong on American leadership in the world, he's wrong on how we get this economy moving. So, pretty much everything there. Former South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley called Ramaswamy quote-unquote pretty pathetic for attacking her Indian maiden name. In the August 1st Republican debate, former New Jersey Governor Chris Christie dismissed Ramaswamy as a, quote, guy who sounds like ChatGPT, which is actually a pretty good diss. And then there was Karl Rove, who put the cherry on top, writing a column in the Wall Street Journal in which he blasted Ramaswamy as a, quote, performance artist who says outrageous things, smears his opponents, and appeals to the dark parts of the American psyche. Ramaswamy, for his part, dismisses all of the attacks as evidence that he is starting to matter in the presidential race. And he's not totally wrong. No one attacks someone who is irrelevant, except occasionally Donald Trump. Ramaswamy is now, by most accounts, in the top 3 nationally, behind only Trump and Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. But I actually think there's more there too. It's not just that Ramaswamy is starting to move up in the polls and or dominated that first Republican debate that explains why he has suddenly become the focal point of attacks from across the Republican Party. So, you might ask, what is the reason? Well, I think at least part of it has to do with Ramaswamy's personality. He is glib. He is confident, bordering on arrogant. He always comes across like he believes he is the smartest guy in the room and wants to tell you about it. In a room of alpha personalities, which after all that's who runs for president, Ramaswamy is the alpha-ist, an unapologetic know-it-all who is willing to offer his opinion on everything, whether you want to hear it or not. Look, we've seen this before. During the 2020 Democratic primary, former South Bend Mayor Pete Buttigieg regularly came under attack as the race wore on, due at least in part to his relative youth, he, like Ramaswamy, was in his late 30s, and political inexperience. Could we be running with less experience than he had? I don't think so, Minnesota Senator Amy Klobuchar said of Buttigieg during that race, adding, I don't think people would take us seriously. Klobuchar was talking specifically about women running in that presidential race. But whereas Buttigieg sought to downplay conflicts that arose between himself and his competitors for the Democratic nomination, Ramaswamy leans into them. I'm the only person on the stage who isn't bought and paid for, he said at one point during the first Republican debate. Responding to an attack by Haley during that debate, Ramaswamy said, I wish you well on your future career on the boards of Lockheed and Raytheon. During a back and forth with Christie in the debate, Ramaswamy yelled, give me a hug. Give me a hug just like you did Obama, a reference to Christie's greeting of the former president in the aftermath of Superstorm Sandy in 2012. But Ramaswamy's personality alone actually doesn't totally explain the level of vitriol for him in the race. To truly understand that, I think you have to grasp that Ramaswamy is effectively the stalking horse for Donald Trump in the eyes of his Republican competitors. So most of the candidates in this race have been reluctant to attack Trump, because usually doing so backfires on them, since the party's base remains fiercely loyal to the former president. So since they can't directly attack Trump, they attack the next best thing, Ramaswamy. Ramaswamy, for his part, has invited the comparisons to Trump and defended the former president vociferously during that first Republican debate. This sort of attack by association or proxy is particularly pronounced in Pence, who A, served for 4 years by Trump's side, and B, seems to hate Ramaswamy more than all of the other candidates do combined. So during that first debate, Pence repeatedly went after Ramaswamy as inexperienced and for his dark vision of the current state of America. We're not looking for a new national identity, said Pence at one point. The American people are the most faith-filled, freedom-loving, idealistic, hardworking people the world has ever known. To which Ramaswamy, never really one to back down from a controversy, responded this way: it is not morning in America. We live in a dark moment, and we have to confront the fact that we're in an internal sort of cold cultural civil war. Which sounded a lot like Trump's inauguration speech, when the president painted a vision of America as failing and crime-riddled, promising this American carnage stops right here and stops right now. Pence, who spent 4 years by Trump's side, can't reject the former president's vision of the country, but he can attack the guy not named Trump who is spouting many of those same views. So Ramaswamy, I think, gets a whole lot of the anger and frustration that his fellow candidates feel but can't express about Trump. It's not political suicide to attack Ramaswamy as it is to attack Trump, and so everyone is going off on him all at the same time. So what? I still don't see Ramaswamy as a real threat to be the Republican presidential nominee. For all his happy talk about Trump and vice versa, you can be sure that if the former president actually thought Ramaswamy was a threat to him, he would immediately begin to attack. Plus, running as a Trump clone when Trump himself is in the race seems, short-sighted. For the moment, though, Ramaswamy is the center of attention in the race. That it's because all the other candidates, aside from Trump, seem to hate him, doesn't appear to bother Ramaswamy in the least.